what is the thing that people instantly think about you the moment they think about you? What are they all rolling up to?
Bringing the human aspect into those big conversations. People want to work with people.
I think we just care about our clients and their business growing, and we'll do whatever it takes.
Creative brilliance, right? That is like the piece that sets agencies apart. How do you sell on creative brilliance? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Before we get into today's episode, one of our partners, Pence Media Group, has been working to help elevate a few local brands into the national spotlight. Nicole, what have y'all been up to?
We have a lot of cool things going on right now at Pence Media Group, but one of the neatest clients that we've had for a long time is National FFA. And since school's starting up, I thought I'd bring it up. Not everybody realized that National FFA, the largest youth leadership organization in the country, is headquartered right here in Indiana. More than 1 million members, so 1 million students, are a part of National FFA. Chapters all over the country, a lot of chapters here in Indiana. And you know them because they wear that blue jacket, right?
I was just going to say 1 million members, like the corduroy,
more than 1 million.
The corduroy jacket business has to be good.
It is very good for FFA. And I think when people say to me, oh, our youth have nothing to do and in high school and they're not motivated and they need to be good leaders and they can't look people in the eye, I say, have you checked out National FFA? So we've been doing a lot of PR nationally for National FFA for a long time. And one of the stories we recently did was with Parents Magazine. And we talked a lot about how you gotta put your kid in something that helps them think on their own, communicate on their own, learn on their own. And so partnering with National FFA is absolutely one of my favorite things we do at PMG.
I love it. And we're getting ready for National Convention. It's going to be coming up in October, right?
That's right. And talk about corduroy jackets. They're like everywhere.
Oh, they take over downtown.
They do. And again, it's cool. I mean, it's a big deal that we have that headquartered right here in Indiana. And agriculture is booming. So it's really neat to have it all connected back to the Hoosier State.
I love it. Well, hey, keep up the good work and we'll talk soon.
Sounds great.
Now let's get into the episode. Today I'm joined by Chance Benbow and Tony Miranda. Chance is the CEO and Tony is the VP of Business Development at JDA Worldwide, a full-service marketing and communications firm with expertise in a variety of industries headquartered right here in Indianapolis. Now, Chance has a fun story from starting a marketing agency 6 months after graduating from Anderson. Tony has been in sports and, oh my gosh, so many cool career paths. And I'm excited to dive into all the great stuff you guys are doing at JDA and a little outlook on what's going on downtown and the future of all the cool things JDA. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm really excited. We're going to drop it. I'm just going to get it off the table early on. Chance was just awarded the IBJ 40 under 40. So we are in the presence of royalty here in the studio today. And I'm really pumped. But the story doesn't start with accolades and trophies and, a penthouse downtown office, like right in the heart of Indianapolis. It starts at little old Anderson University.
That's
up
right.
Towards the Muncie area, the Anderson area. So Chance, take us into where did you get your start when it came to all things marketing?
It goes all the way back to Anderson. I was a marketing major and I took this class where basically what you got to do is you got to manage a real account. Ours was Irwin Union Bank. It was an old bank in Indianapolis. And right at that moment, I was like, you know what? This is something I want to do. I want to do marketing, especially on behalf of clients from the agency side of things. So we did that class and I was kind of hooked, had a marketing internship after that. And a dear friend of mine, Andy Kennedy, he and I just decided hey, we took this class. It was one semester. Obviously, we know everything there is to know about marketing, so we might as well just start our own agency in college. But it actually kind of worked out. We represented car dealerships, furniture galleries, coffee shops.
What was the first one? What was the first business? Did you put on a little suit and walk into a car dealership and get them to pay you $500 a month or whatever?
Yeah, you want to hear the big break?
Yeah.
So there's this Chevy dealership in Muncie, American Chevrolet.
Yes.
And Andy and I are in our apartment. We're living together. And we come up with this idea called the American Chevrolet Hunt for the Truck. And do you remember back in the day when you would text a 5-digit number to enter into a sweepstakes?
Yeah.
So we told them, this is during truck month, and we're like, hey, why don't you wrap a Silverado in camo and put 5 big orange letters on the side of it? And if you spot the truck driving around Muncie, you can enter in to win a weekend long hunting trip to Tennessee. All expenses paid, all that kind of stuff. They ended up selling the second most trucks in the state that month.
No way.
Yeah, the creative was pretty cool, and I think we got paid like $2,000 to do that.
Dude, $2,000
Yeah.
for your first project, and in 20. Like, how did you get them to believe? Because a lot of things, I mean, I get this feedback. Like, I'm really good at coming up with crazy ideas, and so I'm like, the hardest part is to get the person on the other side of the table to believe that this will work and that you can pull it off.
Well, I can't imagine what it was like being across the table from the two of us. I mean, we're 21 years old at that point. But I mean, the pitch was pretty cool, and they ended up getting tons of test drives, and they, sold a bunch of trucks that month, and the creative was cool. And yeah, man, it was fun.
And so from now on, you're like, we just hit winners. Like you guys don't remember the Hunt for the Truck sweepstakes? Like that was us.
That's right.
Okay, so you roll that one into, you get $2,000. You're 20 years old, not even old enough to go spend it at the Chug yet. So like you're good to go.
That's right. Yeah, but no, we did some things in between that, and really, I mean, we just kind of kept it rolling all throughout. I think that might have been like our junior year. We kept it going through our senior year, and we would just do little things here and there. But like, it was fun to figure out like how to act like an owner. And, you get one that hits, and it's just like, I want to do that again.
How were you learning, besides the class where you clearly learned everything there is to know about marketing agencies, how were you learning how to run a business and like what to put in a sales deck and how to pitch people?
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of figured it out. That was the fun thing. I would say overconfident and underprepared would probably be the the cocktail for how all that worked out. But we shot a lot of shots. I mean, we would talk to anybody. We went to like car repair shops. We went to coffee shops, sports complexes, and we just, would sit around and think of ideas that we thought would be really cool for them, and a lot of spec work. So, we were doing some of that.
What does that mean?
So we would just like come up with ideas, build them out, and then show them to them. And it was kind of like, hey, if you like this, it's kind of ready to ship.
Oh, see, I like it all starts with the idea.
Yeah.
So it's like you start with like, you know what, regardless of if they want to work with us today or not, like let's think of the idea and then we'll pitch them the idea. And if they like it, did you ever have anyone take your idea and try to execute it without you?
Probably. Yeah. I can think of one when we got started full time, that kind of stunk. But you got to take those lumps when they come.
Yeah. And it's like, it just gives you some credibility when you walk in with a plan versus like, oh, we're going to think of the most creative idea ever, right?
That's right.
And then you ended up graduating from college and you're like, we had a fun ride, but I probably need to go get a job and join the workforce and, climb the corporate ladder. And that lasted all of 6 months.
Andy and I, we went to dinner with my dad, who he's run marketing advertising agencies since 1987.
Up in Muncie?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. We get with them and we're like, hey, we're ready. Like, we're going to go start our own agency. We're going to keep this thing rolling. Like, it's in our apartment now, but like, watch out. Like, we're going to do it. So he sits with us. We were at Kona in Carmel. I'll never forget it. And he's like, awesome. Like, how much do you guys think you should get paid? And we're like, I don't know, like 30 or 40 grand. This is 2009, right? 2010. And then he's like, awesome. So you need like equipment, like laptops and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, office space. Yeah. Software. Yeah. All that stuff. And he's like, cool. Well, you guys need to generate like 20, 25 grand worth of revenue every month. Are you ready for that? And Andy and I kind of looked at each other like, oh crap. Like that's pretty steep. So at that point we're like, all right, so maybe like that would be like 12 American Chevrolets per month. So like maybe we're not quite ready for that. So Andy got this awesome job in Texas. I got a job here in Indiana, both at agencies. And we were doing our thing. Like I was working on some cool accounts like GE, Aunt Millie's Bread, Do It Best Hardware, like kind of cutting my teeth, low man on the totem pole. I remember Andy was like helping redesign his entire agency's website. Yeah, man, literally like 5 or 6 months later, we're like, forget this, man. Like we're learning a lot, but like, let's go do it. Like we can figure this out. So we just decided like, hey, let's go do this thing. And we decided to start the agency in Traverse City, Michigan, because Traverse City is awesome. We were just like, hey, like we're going to go start this thing.
People like to complain about like the Northern Indiana winners. We're like Traverse City winners. I can only imagine.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
And kind of stones on you guys to move to a market where you don't know any, like you don't have these connections. Your dad doesn't have any connections. Like no one has any connections, right? I don't know. Did you guys have ties to Traverse City?
Just like summer vacations since like 93. That's it.
And the one thing that locals love is vacation travelers in a new place.
They call them fudgies up there. So we were fudgies. But yeah, man, we made it work, and we ended up getting a lot of work in Muncie, where we're from. But yeah, man, like Traverse City and Muncie were the hot markets that we penetrated.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Then you had this thing of pulling the thread of like this cool agency, great ideas, all that stuff. Tony, you also had the idea of starting a career in something sexy like sports, correct? Like coming out of Trine, you were a football player up there. Chance, you were a football player I was on the football team. I did not play football at DePaul, but we have people that were all on football teams in college here, right? Tony, you left Trine, and then you started your career in sports. Where'd you start at?
Yeah. So I took an internship at the Speedway.
After graduating?
Speedway. Yeah.
Dude, nothing like
was,
the post-grad internship.
Yeah.
That's...
And I had 2 in college. And so, you graduate, and I probably applied for 30 sports jobs. And as you can guess, getting into the sports world is not the easiest thing to do. Didn't really want to sell tickets. Had gotten some advice on if you want to do it, but you're probably going to be in tickets for a while. So I said, okay. And started a marketing internship at IMS and was like, marketing's a big word. Let's figure it out. And glad I did, where I learned a ton. As you know, in May at IMS, it's pretty nuts. And so got to be in the office 40 hours a week, manage some of the brand ambassador team, things like that, which was great. Got very fortunate to meet some great people in Indianapolis, like the Seth Morales, the Dave Neff. Found my way to Michael Lake over at the Pacers, and they were hiring a sponsorship activation person, and got my first opportunity in real pro sports, because most of the time at the track, they staff up in the summer, but there's not usually a lot of opportunity after that. So just learned the networking grind and started meeting people, and was really happy to get an opportunity to go work for the Pacers for a couple seasons.
This is a fun fact that not a lot of people know. I went to a WNBA championship game courtesy of Tony Miranda. This would have been 2015.
Yeah.
The fall of 2015.
Yep.
They made it.
Yep.
It was against Minnesota.
Yep.
I think it was game 6 at home, maybe.
Yep.
Tony, I think this is 2015, that season. Like, you couldn't give tickets away to Fever games. He did give them away to us, and we almost didn't go, considering it was like a 60-minute drive from Greencastle into here. And I just remember me and Zach Williams were late editions, so everyone else was courtside. Our first 6 buddies, Cade, all the dudes, Dom, all courtside, and we're up in the rafters of the WNBA championship. But I remember that was when I was like, dude, Tony has the coolest job. Imagine just being able to give courtside tickets to an NBA or WNBA championship game. I was like, that's so sick.
Yeah.
And then from there, you ended up going and working with Learfield, right?
Yes. Yep. Learfield with the IU sports property. Really wanted to get on the sales side of sponsorship, so went over to Learfield at the end of 2015, and spent 5 seasons selling for the Hoosiers, which was a lot of fun.
Also, there's this. Does anyone see this trend where it's Tony leaves and then the teams become spectacular? I don't know.
He's good luck.
Yeah, right. The Hoosiers are now ripping, but this was pre that, where again, I don't know if you could. Give away season tickets to IU football back in the day. But, now it's the hottest thing.
For sure.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's been fun to see.
Where did your paths end up crossing for the first time?
So it's kind of funny where I was calling on Chance when he was at Main Street trying to get him to sponsor the Hoosiers. Didn't have a lot of luck there. But really it was through Dave Neff again, where during my time at Learfield, got my MBA at Butler, was kind of okay, I like the sports thing, but what else could be out there? 2020 hits with COVID. Sports was in a weird place. And so I got coffee with Dave. He had just joined our parent company, Prolific, and was like, hey, we're looking at building this out. And so went through the interview process that summer of 20, and I think Chance was my 5th or 6th interview, and actually got to come into the office, which was nice. And I'd say we kind of clicked right off the bat.
Pretty immediately.
With the D3 football from Indiana, love sports. And so that was really when it started. And then over the last 5 years has just grown a lot.
Chance, where did you end up getting into JDA and kind of the family business?
After our agency that we started, that we ended up selling, I went on the client side for a little while, for 4 years.
Well, when you say on the client side, give us...
It was at Main Street. So Main Street built luxury nursing homes and had a really, really meteoric rise from probably around 2012 through, call it, 2015, 2016. And I got to lead marketing for that organization. And man, you talk about being underqualified for a job. I mean, this is like a $300 million industry leading real estate company. And they're like, hey, let's let Chance lead marketing for this.
That's product is luxury nursing homes.
Yeah. And we were early in that space. So like you see a lot of really high end, like nursing homes, assisted living, things like that. But Main Street, that was headquartered in Carmel. They were really kind of like right on the tip of the spear on that.
But not quite like wrapping trucks in camo and like
exactly
hunting trips. It's like,
yeah. But I will say the cool thing about like some of those sectors that are underserved, when you do a really good job of marketing, it shines so much brighter, right? Like when you think about like fashion or automotive and things like that, the table stakes are so much higher because everything that you see is pretty excellent. But in the senior living space, there's not a lot of excellence in the marketing side. So when you do a really good job, it just really stands out a lot more.
I totally agree with this. And I think in the terms of all of marketing, right? It's like, let's say like creative for like Instagram, like if you're making videos, like what we do, right? Food, so easy. Like the bar is so like high to make the best food content because everyone can make food look good. Like it's food and everyone likes that. But it's like, how do you make insurance or like these like more difficult to Instagram businesses? How do you like give them a good look and a brand and a feel? Like that's where the like I don't know the real genius is, I feel like.
But I love that. I mean, some of the partners that we have, you know, that are more, call it diamonds in the rough, they're like category leading brands or they're kind of like the leaders in their field. And for us, it's like, why don't they deserve to have a really awesome story told about them, right? It's kind of like, who cares if it's metal spinning? It's like, well, it's not metal spinning. Maybe it's a component that is for the Department of Defense and for, you know, some of the stuff that like keeps us safe, right?
Yeah.
So it goes from, you know, we're the small manufacturing company to know like, we keep our country safe in these things that we care about. So I think just how we frame things and thinking more of our partners than maybe they even, you know, think of themselves. I love that.
And I think a lot of it starts with like, how does your partner or how does the business owner talk about like, oh, it's just metal spinning. And it's like, whoa. You gotta, like I said about Indiana, like next time you're in Chicago and someone's like, where are you from? And you like roll your eyes and you're like, oh, I live in Indiana. It's like, no. You gotta be, I live in Indiana and it's sick and there's cool stuff going on.
Heck yeah.
And Caitlin Clark and Tyrese live here. Like, let's go. So you're leading marketing at Main Street.
Yep.
And then, 4 years, 5 years? How long did it take you to get back to JDA?
Yeah, so that was 2017. And, you know, that was kind of one of those things where, you know, my dad had started an advertising company in 1987, year I was born. And then he started JDA in 2003. And, you know, I never wanted to do the family business, didn't want sort of like the, you know, hey, nepotism, any of that. So like really all my career, I was like, you know what, like love my dad, but you know, I kind of want to do things on my own. And at that point, having started Intersection, you know, with some friends and then getting to do the Main Street thing kind of was really kind of feeling like, hey, you're doing the right thing, doing this the right way. But then that's right about the time JDA was really taking off growth wise. And my dad and I got breakfast and he was like, look, I understand that this isn't something that you forecasted, but if there was ever a time for you to do this, then let's do it now. So I thought about it, you know, talked to the wife and, you know, kind of went back to him. I was like, all right, man, like I'll do this, but I don't want any equity. Like I want you to treat me like you would anybody else. And like, I just want to help you finish this thing strong. And funny, that's been almost 9 years ago. And like, we haven't really slowed down since that point in time. So the timing was really interesting to kind of start, you know, right when we were on the come up a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I do want to talk through marketing versus advertising.
Yeah.
Like I feel like advertising is just like the old school kind of like Mad Men way to say marketing. But like how do you guys classify the difference between those?
Yeah, I think when you think about advertising, you know, another way to say that is paid media. It's just, you know, the airspace on social media or connected TV or billboards or streaming or terrestrial radio. Like it's that airtime. And yes, there needs to be creative to be put on those channels. But marketing is a lot more holistic, right? I mean, you think about like digital and web and search and PR and crisis comms and brand and all of these things like fall under that bigger bucket of how are we as a product or service communicating to our audience groups? And it's the combination of all those things. Yes, advertising is a big arrow in that quiver, but it's a lot more involved with that. So really for us, especially being a full service agency, we love the idea of saying, hey, let's bring to bear all of these areas of expertise and make sure that you're telling a holistic story to your audience, not just on ad channels, but let's make sure your search is really sound. Let's make sure your digital ecosystem has a really smooth customer journey. And by the way, how about your brand? Like, what is the thing that people instantly think about you the moment they think about you, right? Like, what is that gut feeling? And what do all these touch points that your brand has, what are they all rolling up to? So that whole thing I'd say classify as marketing, as opposed to, the singular channel of, having a bunch of advertising mediums that you can
All
be
right.
on.
That makes sense to me. I totally love the old school, Madison Avenue, Mad Men type
yeah.
thing. That thing is so cool. Of old school advertising, smoking some cigarettes and talking about
2 martini lunch.
Yeah, 2 martini, and talking about how you're gonna buy the back cover of whatever the magazine is or whatever. Okay, so your paths come together in 2020, right at a time. We're not gonna talk necessarily about COVID changing the world, but just marketing in general over the last 5 years. You talk about the rise of Gen AI, you talk about just all of these different things. When you started Intersection back in 2009, 2010, that time frame, so different. How are full service agencies, how are you guys keeping up with trends and continuing to learn more about being the experts in something that's you can't have 2 decades of Gen AI experience, you can't have a decade of maybe, I don't know, but the average person has 10 months of experience when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man, the AI thing isn't going anywhere. It's here to stay. And it's helpful. I think agencies get hired for creative brilliance. That's why agencies get hired. We don't get hired to do production work. We do production work, little day-to-day sort of tasks and things like that. But I think AI can help out a lot more on those sort of deliverables. But, if you're going to do something creatively brilliant, I don't care what sort of expertise, you're going to have to prompt AI in an expert level fashion with years and years and years of experience to get anything close to something that could be pushed out live. So for me, I'm not intimidated by AI. I think we need to figure out how to fully maximize it so that some of these time-consuming, more production-oriented things can get done quicker. But make no mistake, I think some of the more creatively brilliant things we have to do, like rebrands, creative campaigns, complex web builds, crisis communications.
The hunt for the truck, AI is not coming up.
Come on,
with
baby.
that.
Yeah. But those sort of things, I think you need human beings who have years and years of expertise who can do that. Now, can AI also accelerate the creative brilliance? 100% it can. We've just been trying to embrace that in a lot of staff meetings. Our practice leaders are kind of what is the last way that you have used AI to get one of your projects done quicker and better?
Wow. I do think it helps with not being creative in a silo, having something to bounce ideas back and forth before you go into the meeting and you're hey, what do you think of these ideas? It's well, I kind of already massaged them out a little bit, and then you come in there and hey, these are the 3 ideas or whatever. I do want to talk, Tony, if creative brilliance, right, that is the piece that sets agencies apart. How do you sell on creative brilliance?
Yeah.
That seems kind of subjective a little bit and can be difficult to talk about. I promise we just come up with good. Do you remember the hunt for the truck in Muncie? Come on, that's what we make big ideas happen.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of before you get to that, because we talked about spec work earlier, right? And we don't want to do a ton of spec work. If we have a really good opportunity, a really good idea, we will put it out there. But like you said, it is possible that people will take it and use it without hiring us. And so we try to stay away from that. I think it's more on, similar to the AI conversation, understanding the research that's done before the creative brilliance. I think that's where we can really set ourselves apart. And that's how I'm really trying to differentiate us. There's a lot of agencies out there, right? There's a lot of great agencies just here in Indiana. I mean, you don't count the ones in New York or Chicago or Texas or wherever that is. So for me, I think we always say success starts with strategy. And so I always like to talk to people about, hey, we're not just going to come in and throw some really good looking creative at the wall. And you say, well, why'd you choose that option? It's it looks great, doesn't it? It's hey, we researched, we used AI, we understand your industry, what you're trying to do. I think for me, that is what I really lean on as I go talk to new prospects of, we're going to take the time to do the research. We're going to take the time to use that to build a strategy, and then we can show you our creative brilliance. And we might tease that out a little bit, but for me, it's helping them understand that we're not going to necessarily just come in and say, we're awesome at creative. I promise.
And having 22 years of portfolio work helps too, to where we can go to someone in a similar industry and say, hey, like, this feels a lot like this campaign we did for Museum of the Bible, or this feels a lot like something we did for Roots Chris, or this feels a lot like something that we did for the Milwaukee Brewers, right? So when you can do that, then it just kind of helps take this very subjective sort of thing, you're right on the money on that, and say, we've done this before, and like, we're going to let the research and the strategy guide us, but we always say, like, we don't want to be creative for the sake of being creative. Yeah. We want to be creative so that you actually maximize whatever growth metric it is you care about, because people actually don't want to pay for marketing. They want to pay for maximizing their revenue, their impact, or their relevancy. So at the end of the day, that's really all that matters.
It's the outcomes, right? Yeah. Well, it seems to be working. I mean, 8 years running, part of the Inc. 5000 fastest growing private companies in America. The only company headquartered in the state of Indiana to put up 8 years in a row. And in November, you'll learn whether or not they made it for a 9th consecutive year.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. If you're watching on YouTube, you can tell the answer from my face. But I mean, it seems to be working, right? Creative excellence, putting it together, but it's not just being creative for the sake of being creative. Talk to me about this growth phase. The last 8 years being one of the 5,000 fastest growing companies in America. That's crazy.
One of the best things, like the clients that we have are pretty dope. We have awesome clients.
We'll talk about, okay, so 2017, that would have been the first year. Talk about like where in terms of like size of your business, where were you at, and like how hard is it? And how big of a feat is that to boast to 8 years in a row?
I think we ended up being number 2 on the IBJ Fast 25 in 2017, and we had a 3x jump that year.
Okay.
Over the 3-year time frame. But the big moment there was we do a lot of work in like the enterprise faith-based space. That's just an area that we actually love sprinting toward, because most agencies don't want to, kind of intermix on some of that, and we don't mind. So Museum of the Bible was actually the big turning point for us. This is like a $500 million museum, like a Smithsonian level museum right in the heart of Washington, D.C. And we were actually going toe to toe with some big national agencies on that. And little old JDA won it all. And that was kind of the big turning point. So we kind of had a lot of the stuff with like the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum and some of those that kind of established us in those spaces. But when we got that one, that was one of the more high profile ones that we've gotten. So we just got this flood of client work because of the awareness around that. And even like, I would call it like purpose-driven leaders who would run, you could call it secular companies. They even saw it and were like, okay, those are the guys that we want to work with.
What advice? There's a lot of business owners that listen to the show that might find themselves in a room where they're going the David and, not to be cliche, but the David and Goliath mentality there. Yeah. And you're a smaller, independent, like privately owned agency here in Indianapolis, competing against the big guys for work in DC. What advice do you have to win those?
Tony would know because he's the one winning a bunch of them. But I think, we're interesting, right? Like, we are not like small and local. We are also not one of these like publicly traded conglomerates. So we're interesting, man, because we're like this in between where we really try to punch above our weight class. And, we want to pursue kind of these like national category leading brands. At the same time, like, man, are there some awesome organizations here in town that we get the opportunity to represent. So like sometimes like when, we're having those conversations here in town, we just kind of have to say, hey, like, we want the results that we produce to far outweigh maybe a little bit higher of a fee that we would charge, compared to our peers. But make no mistake, like, we just want the results to speak for themselves. Yeah. So like, we get really obsessed with making sure the growth metrics that they care about most are the things that we measure. And we're not doing this BS like vanity metrics thing. Like, well, look, you had, X number of clicks. And it's like, well, so what? Like, did donors give a bunch more money or did they not? So we just try to really keep the main things. What you say?
And I was going to say too, sometimes against a bigger firm or firms from out of state, I think we like to show people behind the curtain, right? Like, I'm bringing on our practice leaders, our VP of brand, our VP of digital, our VP of strategy early in conversations before a client's ever signed or anything like that. Because for me, I just want them to see we're blessed with a really good team. We have really talented people, but also just really good people. And I think when someone gets in the door on a project for web or for brand or whatever that might be, then they start to see, okay, wow, they have all these other departments that are just genuinely good people that care about your business growing. I think we just want to become an extension of your team, regardless what industry you're in, regardless what company you are. And sometimes I think that gets lost. I just think our accounts team is really good. And I just think we want to become an extension of your team, not just a vendor, not just your marketing vendor. We want to become your partner, your trusted advisor. And if you need help moving office space, we don't do that, but I guarantee we have someone that can, and we'll introduce you to them.
Tony will roll up his sleeves and get in there, baby. Come on.
That's a differentiator for me. Yeah. I think we just care about our clients and their business growing, and we'll do whatever it takes, even if that means we have to partner with another agency on something, right? Like we just want to see companies grow. And I think that's the key.
Yeah. And I think that bringing the human aspect into those big conversations, like at its core, and now more than ever, people want to work with people, like people that they like.
Yeah.
I was just like, would I enjoy grabbing a beer or a cup of coffee with this person and hanging out? Like those are the type of people that you want to do business with. And I wonder if from the marketing agency perspective, sometimes whoever the marketing leader for the organization, if they come in there and get like spoke at of like, we're the foremost experts in this, that, and the other thing, and what you've been doing is like not good and blah blah blah. It's like, oh, I don't want to like feel.
That's a
dumb
quick way
every
to
time.
not win any project.
That's really, really interesting. Okay, so take from 2017 to this year, 2025, been ripping on the Inc. 5000. Like, give us a scope of what that means, because you can't just like increase by like 2% and make that list every year. It's got to be like pretty significant growth year over year over year. And a lot of times I see, especially my background was in tech, a lot of times it's like, boom, like you have a boom year, and then it's like maybe you plateau or level out, like you figure something out, new product release, boom, and it's not necessarily consistent growth year over year.
I think for us, like it's been a combo of things. Like we have made some cool acquisitions. Like we acquired this very well established full service agency in the Carolinas. They've been around for a long time. They had capabilities that were really synergistic with ours, and they also had sectors that were really synergistic with ours. Like they do a ton of work in like state government. And up to that point, like we'd never done a single government contract before. And they had like a public affairs practice and more heavy on PR. We had never really done that before. So we did that. JDA also acquired a PR firm that was really synergistic with us. So we did have some acquisitions that help with that growth. But like to your point, man, like acquisitions alone isn't going to do it. You do have to continue to grow like the organic revenue side of things. So that combo of just saying, hey, like we're going to have steady organic revenue growth and make some really well done acquisitions, then, you know, all of a sudden there you go.
I do think that's a key too, is our goal is not to do a project and then, you know, we might not partner with them again. We're really good at keeping clients around for a long time. And so I do think some of that growth, while there was new clients that entered the fold in that 8-year run, it's also been continuing to prove the results with our current clients to where then they're adding more to the pot to really keep this train going.
And just keeping them. I mean, it is, most client relationships are like 6 to 18 months.
Yeah.
And, you know, ours are like 6 to 18 years.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing where we've been really, really fortunate and blessed to say, hey, like a lot of these clients have just been sticky for a long time. Yep. So, you know, the thing Tony is constantly thinking about is like, we want to continue to re-sign these clients, but it's just like, let's go get some net new ones as well. So it's that balance.
Chance, when did you step into the CEO role?
2023 at the start of the year.
So just over 2 years?
Yeah, that's right.
Take us through your process of 8-9 years ago. You're like, I don't want to join the family business. I don't want, and I respect it because it's like if you're a winner, if you're like a competitor, it's like, oh, I don't want to feel like it was handed to me. I don't want to feel like I just got this because of the excellent work that my dad put in for the last 20 years or 40 years, right? Yeah. How does that thought process work and shift, and how did it actually end up coming to the decision to continue to grow there?
My pride and ego weren't a part of it would be a lie, because it absolutely was. Because to your point, it's like, first half of my career, because of a lot of good blessing, like, we were moving up and to the right, career wise. And then, the JDA opportunity comes, and it's like, I want it to be known that it wasn't handed, right? And it was earned. So yeah, the decision to do the CEO thing at JDA, like I initially said no. And I was like, no, like I told you, like I don't want to like kind of mix into this thing of like, feeling like it was, given or it wasn't earned or whatever the case may be. When we had that transition period of, our current president, moving on, I just kind of slid in with the JDA leadership team. And I'm like, hey guys, look, I want to be here for you as we start this search for a new CEO. Like, tell me some of the qualities that you want in this individual, and I'll make sure to go to bat for them, for you guys as we're interviewing candidates and things like that. Sadly, it wasn't until like a couple members of the JDA leadership team are like, well, why don't you do it? Mm-hmm. And it was like, well, our advisory board told me I should think about it. Our head of HR said I should think about it. My dad encouraged me to think about it, and I told all of them no. And, I hate that it kind of like took some of that external validation. But honestly, man, like I've been more professionally fulfilled doing this than anything I've ever done, because, it's a good way to, honor what my dad's built. But like, we've had a couple really, really good years too. Yeah. And that's been really fun to like kind of get off to a hot start. And it's not anything I've done. I mean, like the Lord's been great to our agency, and Tony said it. Our team is really, really good. Yeah. Like we are rolling, and we got every practice kind of with a good leader, fantastic clients. So, not a lot of credit goes to me, but it's been a fun process.
Well, I think that's interesting from both sides of the coin. So when I think about parents, I feel like every parent wants their kid to go up and be better and do bigger things, and it's like if you're a parent and you built a $100 million business, like you want your kid to build $1 billion business. Mm-hmm. And I do think that sometimes when the next generation steps into a family business, it's actually can become like stay on the treadmill and maintain. Like you get so worried about not ruining what was built that you maybe get a little risk averse, or like you stop trying to grow and you're like, oh, we just need to, like, no one lost their job if we just do the same stuff we've always been doing. How do you balance like innovation and growth? And I think this would be hard conversations, because you do have to go home at Thanksgiving and be like, hey, you know what? We're actually going to do something different, and we're going to change it all up. And like, even though we've been doing this for 40 years and like it's been working for however long, like there's still ways to improve and grow and changes that need to be made.
Well, and that's the thing, man. Like JDA has changed pretty rapidly. Like when I first got there in 2017, we had like 3 monthly recurring clients. And today I think we have like 25 or 30. Yep. And, we got big project work and things like that, mm-hmm. but like our head count and number of clients served has grown. So like it used to be everyone in the agency, you got to sit around a table and problem solve. Mm-hmm. Now there's a lot more delegation. We have to have a little bit more process and things like that. But you're right. And I think the biggest thing that I wrestle with, and honestly, for any of the agency owners out there, I'd love to grab a coffee or a beer and talk about it. It's like, when do you hit the point of saying like, so what? Like keep growing revenue and headcount for what purpose, mm-hmm. right? Versus like, we don't want to stay small. We don't want to get complacent. We don't want to have a scarcity mindset. But then at what point do we kind of say, hey, you know what? Like we have a really, really good rhythm right now with clients and team and headcount. And the thing that we really try hard not to do is hire and fire people based on mm-hmm. accounts and projects. Mm-hmm. And, obviously on big swings up or down, you have to add or subtract. But like we've really tried hard to not do what a lot of agencies do, which is just like kind of treat people like Dixie cups, where it's like, hey, we signed a 5-month contract. It's done. You're out. We just don't want to do that. So that adds a layer of complexity to it, where it's like, how do we continue to have a growth mindset, have an abundance mindset, not get out over our skis, but then also not fall into this like staying small when there's a lot more opportunity there?
Yeah. Talk to me about maybe the dynamic between you and your dad, right? As like this next generation comes and takes over, and really the balance of, like continuing to grow, have the abundance mm-hmm. mindset, but also like, I mean, whatever's been going on has been working. Yeah. Like you can't say like, oh, we need to change everything. And like how your guys' dynamic may have changed or shifted or just been interesting conversations to navigate over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, the good thing for me and my dad is like we have a friendship in addition to, me being a son. So, the good thing is he's actually given me like a ton of freedom, which has been great. I mean, he's operating, significantly more at our parent company level, and like JDA has really kind of been a fun opportunity to just take things and drive them. it is nice to be able to pick up the phone or go over there and say, hey man, like this is happening. What do you think? Or, hey, how are you reading this legal contract? Because, you've probably read this line 95 times in your life, and I'm reading it now for the second time. So, the good thing is there's an open line of communication there, which is great. And, I think his support for how we've had to, grow up and mature as an agency has been, really great. And, you can't beat wisdom.
There you go.
And he's got a lot of it. So we got a lot of fire in our belly, but it's nice to be able to pick up the phone and, just have those conversations.
Talk to us about what's coming down the pipeline for all things JDA, Prolific, all the fun things going on there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we have going on is the Prolific Growth Summit. So about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was kind of launching the Prolific brand as our CMO, we always had this idea of doing some sort of a growth conference. And the way it originally started is we were going to kind of do our own event. It was going to be kind of like a exclusive CEO business owner only by invitation event. And we were going to get a lot of speakers who were all things like business growth, free enterprise, that sort of a thing. And we had a really cool thing going. We had Fox Business as like the national media access group. We had a great speaker lineup, and we were going through all the things of like, man, for the first time, we got to figure out how to actually like throw an event.
Right.
But then Toph at Elevate found out about our event, and he's like, hey man, you guys are like a week before us. Why don't you just fold your event within ours? And, for us, it was like, what a great idea. Like growth and innovation are really close cousins and they go hand in hand. So it's like, why not just take over the main stage of Rally for day one and bring all these awesome speakers, right? Like we have David Green, the guy who started Hobby Lobby. They give away like $500 million every year of all their profits. The company's in a trust, and they just like give all this money away to
Hobby Lobby.
Yeah,
What?
dude. It is a monster. And man, what an abundance mindset that dude has to literally just be giving it all away. So we have them. We have Patrick Lencioni. We have an awesome lineup of a sports panel with Rich Kalachi, who's the chief revenue of the Overtime, Jonathan Isaac, the power forward for the Magic, the CEO of Endava, which is a big innovation company in Britain. They represent the Phoenix Suns, and they're doing incredible things on fan engagement. So like the Suns are lapping everyone on how to engage like the next generation of fans. We have Heidi Cruz, who's a Goldman Sachs exec. So we got this powerhouse lineup, and Rally gets to enjoy some of those blue chip speakers, and we get the benefit of a big Rally crowd, the stage, the production, and some of that. So it was kind of like a match made in heaven, but we're pumped for that. We're going to have a lot of really cool people speaking, and we have some different events surrounding it as well.
Yeah. Yep. So what are the dates on that?
September 24th is our
That's
day,
right.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
so your guys' Growth Summit, that's going to be on the 24th. That's a Wednesday.
Yep.
Thursday, the 25th, the second day of Rally. They do have some good ones too. Yeah, Kevin O'Leary is crazy. I didn't even...
And that's a cool thing. Rally had him in pocket, but he gets to start off the day, and Fox Business will be there like broadcasting the thing live. So all eyes are going to be on Indy all across the country, which is pretty cool. And then they're going to get to interview our speakers and Toph and things like that. So it's a pretty exciting thing.
I feel like Indianapolis, and we harp on this a lot on the podcast, is just good about bringing together partners.
Yes.
Even if they're in different spaces, like from the marketing advertising side, like I wouldn't say you guys directly even serve like venture capital. Like, I mean, that doesn't seem to be like your top niche, but like coming together and partnering with a VC and then an advertising, like Prolific, other things you're doing. Like, I feel like that doesn't happen everywhere.
No, it doesn't. But it's one of the reasons I love Indy is like, I think Indy's a 2-call town. You can get to just about anyone you need after 2 calls.
Yeah.
I really believe that. And it just makes it really special. It's the biggest small town out there. And I think that's
Amen.
something that's really cool about us.
I totally agree. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Roots Realty Co., the absolute best real estate team here in Central Indiana. Listen, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, you need people who actually care about our Indiana community. That's Tyler and Max over at Roots Realty. These guys aren't just slinging houses, they're building communities, helping people find homes that actually fit their lives and making the whole process way less stressful. They're not some big corporate machine. They're real people who know Indiana inside and out. Whether you're a first-time buyer, an investor looking for your next deal, or just trying to get top dollar for your home, These guys have the expertise and the hustle to make it happen. They're out here doing great work, not just in Indianapolis, but all across central Indiana and beyond. So if you're in the market, or even if you're thinking about it, hit up Tyler and Max at Roots Realty Co. and they'll take good care of you. Check them out at rootsrealty.co or meet them in person at one of their upcoming investor masterclasses. More details on their website, rootsrealty.co. Let's get back into it. You guys have, in 2020 moved downtown, right? Where was your office at before then?
Carmel.
You were up in Carmel?
Yeah. We had always had kind of like a satellite office mentality where we had like small offices in like Traverse City and St. Simon's Island and the Carolinas, Atlanta. And then we got really serious about our space and kind of centralized a lot more here in Indy.
And you ended up getting a space downtown. Like a block off the Circle.
Yeah.
BMO
right?
Tower.
Yeah.
Yep. 25th floor.
I remember Tony brought me in, and this was another moment where, like, dang, Tony's got a cool job. It's like we went from WNBA courtside to like this awesome space up on the 24th floor.
25th.
25th floor.
Yep.
So talk to us about just the culture of building a business in downtown Indianapolis and the community, how important that is. Because obviously, it's no shocker out there. Indianapolis has changed a little bit over the last 6 years. And a lot of people that were signing leases in 2019, got a little bit of a different product in 2020 and beyond. And how you guys are thinking about and how the city is working to revitalize downtown a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the reason we decided to move downtown is because of the 2019 version of Indy. Like you go down and there's a lot of events going on. Obviously, no one in the country does sports better than we do, being the great host city that we are. So we saw that and we're like, let's get in on that. And the other thing too, like being in a high rise, being downtown, it actually, I think, leveled up the way we as an agency just operated. Like we were, I think, a little bigger and bolder in just how we thought about ourselves, how we recruited and some of those things. But yeah, man, like there are beautiful things about downtown and there are tough things about downtown. Like a lot of the things that, a lot of people in town are talking about, they're real, just in terms of like walking, 2 or 3 blocks here to there. It's tough. And, your heart goes out for, those situations, but we want to see them solved too, or at least progress. But, I think I saw something on LinkedIn that like, there's no awesome suburbs without a thriving city center.
Yeah.
And, we want Indy to be that like it was before. And, it is an awesome town, but it is an interesting dynamic. We want to be there. We're invested in there. We moved down there for a reason.
I think it's interesting too, given remote work culture. And it's like, even if you're 4 days in the office, 1 day remote, like that's a 20% decrease in lunches. That's a 20% decrease in foot traffic and parking garages and, just people in general. And it can make it interesting to, and I don't know, I'm not like an economist or whatever, but I think there is some different correlations to having 20% less daily foot traffic in downtown that makes it what it is today.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly like on the low side. I mean, a lot of the hybrid or more fully remote, I mean, for us, like we're pretty locked in on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. We have people, especially me and Tony, on the Wednesdays and Fridays as well. But a lot of the companies that we bump into, there are very few of them who are 4 or even 5 all in the office.
It's like Tuesdays, Thursdays we come in.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's
rough for them,
decrease.
man. I mean, imagine, being a store owner in downtown that relies on that. So
like Cups. Imagine being Cups. Like that's like right below.
Cups is awesome. Yeah.
Great little spot. But it's like, if you go from 2019 getting, I don't know, 100 cups of coffee in an hour, in the mornings because you had so many people that were walking right by and would pop in, to 60.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's a huge decrease. And then it's tough to like get good staffing, tough to like make the whole economics of a thriving downtown work.
Yeah.
I am interested to see as like the revitalization of Circle Center Mall and like some different creative ideas, how those come together to make thrive. Because obviously there are still downtowns that are thriving. Yeah. And Indianapolis is not doing well. Like obviously we're still hosting the biggest event, WNBA All-Star, NBA All-Star, all these cool things have come to town. And I will be intrigued to see what creative solutions start to pop up in downtown to keep and retain these businesses that are down there.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Like, we do such a good job. And there are awesome places. I mean, like, go down to Bottle Works. Like, walk down Mass Ave. Like, and the same developer who did Bottle Works is doing the Circle Center project, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff happening around the Circle. I mean, there are really cool things down there. And, just continuing that momentum, I think you're right. There's a ton to do.
We're going to give a little bit of free input. Obviously, they already have the plans were made. But have you guys been to Kansas City? Have you guys ever been?
It's been a little while.
Okay, they have the Power and Light District in Kansas City, and it's like this. It's like a big circle. Like there's businesses all around the outside of it and bars and all this cool stuff. And they have like an awning and a giant. It's almost like Midtown Carmel with an awning.
Okay.
And I just like downtown Indy needs that because like you can put heaters on and in the winter you can watch stuff. Like, and I can just envision like Colts games and stuff like that down there.
Yeah.
So Power and Light District, Kansas City. If someone that has some type of power, here's
Make it happen.
Make that happen. I do want to talk about. Obviously, you guys are advertising, marketing experts. This show is all about the state of Indiana. If you were appointed the CMO of the state of Indiana, what kind of campaigns would you be running? What are some of what's some creative excellence that we can give out to the state of Indiana? Completely, we don't care if we want you to take this. This is free advice. What would you guys be doing as the state of Indiana? Or what are other states that you see that are doing really cool things to market them?
The one I got to give credit where it's due, Phil Daniels, and I think DNF was there too. We were just talking about like what Indy can be known for. And like Phil said it, he's like, we're the host city. And it's like, that's brilliant. Like if you think about all the things that go into that, like we host the biggest sporting event in the world with the 500. We host tons of conferences and events with the convention center. We have one of the best, easiest, most accessible airports in the country. We are sports obsessed and we host sports better than anybody. I'm telling you, man, this Hoosier hospitality thing, I don't care what anybody says, it is real. Like people around here are really nice. Yeah. And just this idea of being like the best hosts that you could ask for, I think is really good. So I think that one is good. I think the Speed City thing is really interesting too. I haven't thought about it a ton. Indianapolis being the host city, that's money.
The one thing I like about Speed City is that it's kind of sexy.
Yeah.
Like host city, we got to find we got to massage the wording on that because host city isn't necessarily the mentality of it. What it means is 100% Indiana.
Yeah.
Like that is so true. Like we are like the place, like we'll welcome you with open arms. Whatever your thing is, like we'll be just as excited about your thing as you are. Whether it's WME All Star or the firefighter convention.
But man, it's also like there's also a pragmatism too as well. Like I think sometimes in marketing you want to chase all the fancy things and you get too cute in terms of like all this kind of stuff. The other thing, the cost of living here is really reasonable. There is a lot of fun stuff to do. This is an awesome, awesome environment to start a business. There's this really cool report called Rich States, Poor States that American Legislative Exchange Council does. Indiana is like ranked third on that. So this is an awesome place to do business. It's a great place to live. It's safe. You get these Midwestern family values. Like there's a pragmatism to our state and to our city too that I think is also great. So there's a lot going for us, and I just think that that's something that oftentimes gets overlooked.
richstatespoorstates.org economic outlook rank. Indiana is currently ranked third in the United States for its economic outlook. This is a forward-looking forecast based on the state's standing in equal weighted average in 15 important state policy variables. That is wild.
Yeah, man.
I really do think Indianapolis is one of the most underrated cities in the country.
It is.
And I mean, I feel like it's been that way for a while. And obviously Caitlin Clark and the run the Pacers had this year has helped put us on the map a little more. But I love it. And I do like the Speed City. I mean, we've been talking to Matt Mendrum a lot more, doing some stuff with the chamber. And I'm really excited to see that go live because I think there is a unique meaning to that outside of just IMS.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting.
And that's what they talk about too, where it's like, talk about speed of your career, speed of buying a home, speed, and it's just like I just get the Talladega Nights, like hot, nasty, badass speed. Like that's just come on, baby. Like it is a piece. Like you can, and I say impact too. When I think of Indianapolis, it's like if you are driven by impact and you want to make a difference in your community, like this is the place. Like
100%.
you can. I mean, I don't know. Like 6 years ago, I didn't know anybody here, and now I've like found my way into hosting a podcast that just promotes the state of Indiana because I just like wanted to make an impact. So I do think the like speed, the host mentality, the host with the most, like that. I don't know. There's some stuff to massage out there.
Yeah, we love that
sure.
word impact. I mean, I love that you said that because that for us, I mean, Chance mentioned it briefly earlier, but when you think of growth for us, it's obviously revenue. Everybody wants to grow revenue, right? But we love working with organizations, the cities, the states that want to also just grow that impact. That's our favorite clients, is because that will bring revenue along 99% of the time. But when you're really trying to make an impact in your industry or in your world or in your state or city or country, that's where we really run to those type of clients.
Yeah. We've come to a sponsored segment of the show. This question is brought to you by our friends at JC Hart. They're a leader in creating enjoyable living experiences at apartment communities all across Indiana and beyond. Check them out at homeisjchart.com. My question for you, gentlemen, why do you call Indiana home?
Well, I mean, the nice thing is, born and raised here, right? I've never lived outside of the state of Indiana, which I love, but I never really wanted to. I think for me, like we've been talking about, the opportunity for growth is endless in this state, and especially in Indianapolis, but really across the state. I mean, you see so many thriving areas of Indiana. I love, I grew up 2.5 hours north and go back all the time and love it. And I just think what you've been doing too is highlighting some of those small areas across the state. And they're so underrated, man. There's so many underrated areas. But for me, I just think Chance said it perfectly too, the two call mentality. Like that, I mean, I kind of fell into networking back when I was 23, 24. And you're right. I mean, it is, you can go 6 years later and have a massive network of relationships. And so I love Indianapolis. Like I said, I think it's the most underrated place in the country, and don't plan on leaving anytime. So
I love it.
Good cost of living, good place to run a business. The other fun thing about it too is I've heard this described by a couple people that Indy is this rare combo of access and opportunity. You have access to a lot of movers and shakers for sure, like Two Call Town, but there are big things happening around here too. So like usually you get one of the two. Like in Silicon Valley, tons of opportunity, no access, right? It's like, I'm not going to go get lunch with Mark Zuckerberg. If I wanted to get lunch with the mayor of Topeka, Kansas, could probably get that done. But maybe there's not as much of a, thriving ecosystem in a market like that. But like in Indy, man, it's like this rare combo of like big things are happening and there's access to. So I think that's a cool dynamic. And I'm with Tony, like, there's a lot of fun stuff going on, especially if you like sports. I mean, man, what a great sports town, dating all the way back to the Pan Am Games and the fact that we have all these, professional sports leagues and a great college atmosphere for sports too. So especially if you like sports, I mean, what a town.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to host the Final Four in 2026. And I love that you talked about the Pan Am Games. I had Milt Thompson. Do you guys know Milt? He was like the original general counsel for the Pan Am Games. I believe it was general counsel. So this is like 1984, I think.
I think so.
1984. In the 83, basically they had to convince Cuba to be a part of the Pan Am, to make it like an official full games, right? So Milt, this is the 80s, post-Cold War, is like one of the first Americans that went into Cuba to like talk to Castro and like convince them to be part of it. Dude, go back, listeners out there, go listen to that episode with Milt Thompson. It was crazy how the Pan Am Games came to be, how Indianapolis hosted it, and it really did set us off on this like, I think at the time it was like they wanted to be amateur sports capital of the world.
Yep.
Kind of achieved that goal. Now it's women's sports capital of women's and girls sports, which I love. And obviously the host city. Amazing. That is, the Pan Am Games it's a crazy episode. And he tells some wild stories.
Yeah, I need to go listen to that one because a lot of the Indy OG people that I know about, I mean, everyone talks about Jim Morrison or Jim Morris, but the Pan Am Games being such a pivotal turning point for some of those things, learning more about that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, we've come to some rapid fire questions where we're just going to shoot through and talk Indiana things.
Love it.
I feel like I know what both your answers are going to be for this one, but favorite Indiana coffee shop?
I probably have to say Cups, probably from the last 5 years of their Friday blueberry cinnamon flavor, best one.
Yeah,
every Friday.
Blueberry crumble all the way. I mean, Patachu too. That's not technically a coffee shop, but I mean, you can't miss there.
Dude, we had Martha on the pod. She has a heck of a story. She's just like, she's so sharp. She's like an economist, basically. Like she had an economics undergrad degree and started a restaurant, and she's just like ran that thing incredibly well. Yeah. That's an awesome one. Okay, best local event in Indy that you never miss.
Rev's awesome. Is there a better month than May in the state? No way. And Rev, man, is a really, really cool way to kick it off.
There is no better place to be. Like May and Indy, or Indy and May is the best month in any city anywhere. I'll put it toe to toe. Like they're like March or April in Chicago or March in Michigan. No, not the same.
No way.
Indianapolis, May is. There's just an energy. I pick the speed limit up on my car like 5 miles an hour just because it's May, baby. We got to go fast. Tony,
I would probably agree with that. I mean, it's that's a tough one to beat. I mean, Zubilation's great as well. Big fan of that. But yeah, I think Rev takes it.
We got to shout out our friends at Daymar. The Daymar Gala is getting to be pretty dope too.
Great one.
They had Dana Carvey and David Spade there last time.
Yep.
What? They brought the house down. Yeah, and man, talk about a cool organization too, Daymar.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
They help like the most severe cases of kids and adults with developmental disabilities, like the ones that are really, really tough. And they are kind of throughout the entire state. I think they're expanding too. But Jim Dalton, Anderson grad, and Jenny Peters, they are fantastic people. And I mean, you just think about like, they have this line about like all people are remarkable. And it's like, man, some more of that in my veins, right? And they just go toe to toe for those folks, and they're awesome.
I love that. Football guys, where's the best place to watch a football game in the state of Indiana?
That's got to be the Butler Bowl on the Don Benbow 50-yard line, baby.
Yes, sir. I love that. The Butler Bowl Butler unfortunately does not have a football culture. Like, I feel like it's a basketball. You know, like, I mean, DePaul, D3 is like on their schedule. That was like the most fun game
dude,
ever.
the Monon Bell game.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's the actual answer.
Are you
to that.
talking like a stadium, or are
It
you
could be a
talking like a
stadium
bar?
or a bar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where do you like to watch football, Tone?
I obviously played at Trine. I think what they've done up at the stadium up there is fantastic. I try to get back once a year, but just thinking from with the buddies and go watch a game, like District Tap up in Keystone area is money. I love
There's a lot of
this place.
TVs in there.
Yeah, they just do a good job.
Okay, I respect that.
But if you've not gone to a Monon Bell game, people don't understand how fun that is.
Even if you don't have a dog in the horse in the race or whatever, like it is incredible.
It's so much fun.
Two D3 schools turn into like a small D1 atmosphere, and it's electric.
And an awesome tailgating scene too.
Go to both sides too. Go see one in Greencastle and go see
absolutely.
one.
And honestly, like we have just as much, if not more fun when they're in Crawfordsville.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's a vibe. The whole thing is fun. Yeah, you got to 2 Monon Bell games. Got to be on everyone's Indiana bucket list there. Speaking of Indiana bucket list, favorite Indiana weekend getaway.
French Lick is incredible, especially for any golfers listening. I mean, Sultan's Run is my favorite golf course in the entire state. Like if the Fort and French Lick Pete Dye had a kid, that's Sultan's Run. And where else in the world are there like 5-star hotels, like literally in the middle of nowhere? I mean, it is really cool. Dude. And it's a fun 36-hour trip, I think.
Yeah. I really like Brown County. Go down to Brown County. You got Hard Truth down there, and then go in the fall, right? It gets a little cooler. They got all the vendors out there, all the wine tasting, little knickknacks, big woods. I mean, we do it every October.
One thing too, like do a staycation in downtown Indy. Like Kyler and she and I have been doing that like once a year, and like do all the things that you tell your friends to do. Like get a hotel, go up to 1933, go to Bluebeard, like go down Mass Ave. Like you can, I mean, it's actually fun to like be a tourist in your own town. Like go to a game too. So we've been trying to do a little bit of that.
I feel like, get a spot like Bottle Works Hotel.
Heck yeah.
That place is,
it's
awesome.
nice.
Yeah. Okay. Final question on this one. What is your favorite Indiana sports memory?
I think it was like 2015. You're gonna have to cover your ears, Tone. So we had like an ice storm in Indy, and this was when the Crossroads Classic was still a thing, and Butler played IU, and at the last minute we decided to Uber down to it, Kyler and I and 2 of our closest friends, and that was Butler beat him. Keelan Martin hit a fall away 3 and gave him one of these at the end of it.
Yes.
And because it was so crappy out, we just stayed out until like 2 a.m. until like the conditions kind of slowed down. But that was a pretty electric atmosphere being at that game.
Yeah, because the Crossroads Classic used to be IU, Butler, Notre Dame, Purdue.
Yeah.
Electric.
Bob Knight comes back for the first time before he passed, and that was, again, I didn't grow up a massive IU fan. I grew up in Notre Dame country, but became working there for 5 years, and just seeing that place, the emotion, him being at center court with Isaiah and all that kind of stuff, that was pretty awesome.
What year?
So that would have probably been it was 18 or 19, 2019, I think, was when he came back for the first time in however many years. And all the players came back, and it was a crazy atmosphere. It was against Purdue, I believe, and just when Archie was coaching, we lost, which was a real bummer. But that feeling during halftime when he walked out there was pretty awesome.
It's kind of like how I feel sometimes when some of the legacy Colts players are back, and I never really know if it's going to be like a Ring of Honor game or anything like that. But it's like they walk, Tarek Glenn out, or Peyton Manning's out there giving a speech, and it's just so cool.
It is.
It's like there's just like a piece of it's similar to Reggie in the playoffs this past run. It's like he's out at
seeing him courtside with all of his teammates' jerseys on. What a cool thing.
Yeah. So fun. Tony, I do have to ask, when did you graduate from? So Tony's from Napanee. He went to Northwood High School. When did you graduate?
From high school?
Yeah.
2010.
Oh, so you might have been a freshman, or were you an 8th grader on the Black Crunch team?
So I was an 8th grader, which was real tough.
Tony, you have to, people love this story. Can you tell the story of the Black Crunch?
Of just that year?
Yeah, that team.
So I would have been in 8th grade. I mean, we had a freshman quarterback who was just very blessed. He was already like 6'2". But
must be nice.
I mean, just we went 3-6 in the regular season.
So in the regular season, you guys only won 3 games.
Correct. So in Indiana, everybody makes the playoffs, right? Other states fight me on that, but I think it makes sense. And we had a really, really great senior class. They were a little bit of troublemakers, but they were really talented. And I think it just took the whole regular season for them to realize that this was their last run, and they finally kind of pulled it together and went on a 6-0 playoffs run. Come down to it was the Dome at that point, actually. Yeah,
RCA Dome.
Yeah. So came down after going 3-6, went on a 6-game win streak, and played state against Chittard and won 7-0 with a freshman quarterback. First ever football state championship for Northwood. So.
After a 3-6 season
with a freshman quarterback,
a freshman
14-year-old,
it's
insane.
Right. Like so Triton, my high school, we were not so good at football, but I feel like every year our coach would say like Northwood in 06 only won 3 regular season games. We went 1-9 every season until my senior year. We had won 2 games my senior season. He's like, we can pull this off just like they did back in 06.
It was a pretty cool run. It was lots of fun.
There you go. I had to get the Black Crunch story in there.
I love it.
Final 3 questions of the day, gentlemen. This is what we ask every single person who comes on the show. First one, what is something the world needs to know about Indiana?
It's a great place to start a business. It's a great place to live. It's friendly.
It's an underrated golf state. I think that is something that the country does not talk about enough. I mean, Chance already mentioned French Lick. Victoria National up in Northwest. I mean,
that's
Sultan's Run, or that's what I meant. Yeah. Sorry. And then Sultan's Run. I mean, Chatham Hills, what they're doing. Liv's coming in next month. Like, there are so many.
The Purdue courses are really incredible.
Yeah.
The Notre Dame course hosts like LPGA, senior LPGA, maybe something like that. Like, there's
tons of good golf.
Yeah.
So I think
like
that's
that. Underrated golf state.
Yep.
Next question. Where you're going to shine some light on something more people need to know about. We'll go Chance and then Tony. Chance, what is a hidden gem in Indiana?
71st and Keystone. Wisinjini Paywan. It's an Indonesian place. It is really, really good.
71st and Keystone.
Yeah. Wisanjeni Paywan. It's right next door to the Rook, which, by the way, awesome dive bar. But it's good, man. Really good reviews.
That is I don't know anyone who's ever said that.
And you can go next door to the Rook
afterward.
Now that is a true hidden gem right there.
That whole area, man, like Capri is really good. Yeah. KSR moved up there. So
Sakura is right there.
Sakura is really good.
Whenever anyone says 71st and Keystone, they usually say Sakura because it's fire sushi, really good. I have never heard of this, but I'm going to add it to my list and I'm going to go.
There we go.
Tone.
I'm going to go a little broader, but Story, Indiana. I don't know if have you heard of Story, Indiana?
The Story Inn.
So yeah, that like I said, we go to Brown County. It actually started in 20 when I got the job with Prolific and JDA. My wife took me to Brown County for the day, and then on the way home, she's like, "Let's stop in at Story," and it is the coolest little town. I mean, there's a tavern in the basement of the inn. I mean, people are riding their horses. There's a horse dock. They're riding their horses in. There's cowboys.
Well, that's not new for
live
Tony.
music.
No.
True. I mean, we went to the grocery store in Napanee and there was horses and buggies everywhere. But it was just cool to like interact, see it. We didn't do all the things, but you can stay there. Live music, just a cool little place that no one.
Craig Hughes, from the owner of St. Elmo, he raves about the Story Inn, and he raves
awesome.
about how awesome that it is.
So yeah, check it out. Go down there.
That's a good one. Final question. This is where we source new guests and learn about people that are doing amazing things. Mm-hmm. Who's a Hoosier that we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
Dante Cook. I don't know if you've ever had him on or you need to, but he's got his hands in absolutely everything. I was very blessed to meet him through Edge Mentoring back in the day that Dave was part of. And then we coached middle school football for 2 years together and then launched the program at Purdue Polytechnic High School together and coached with him for 3 years there. And he's got his hands in 500 things. He's a dad of 4 kids, and he just he is going to do great things. He already is, but I really look up to Dante and think he just is everything that Indianapolis and Indiana is and stands for, and not being from here, which I think is pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Jay Height. So Jay leads Shepherd Community Center. They are on mission to eradicate poverty on the east side of Indy, and what a guy. I mean, they kind of thread the needle of like really wanting to be, for that neighborhood with tons of different things, with church, with daycare, with a school, with basic needs, professional development, the whole 9 yards. And Jay has just been a catalyst for that neighborhood for a long time. And they're just an awesome place to send your team to volunteer or to get involved in helping an underserved neighborhood. So Jay's been doing it all of his life, and man, that guy's got some really cool stories just about some of the progress and, tough things that, they deal with, but they're on mission, man, and they're fantastic people.
Jay Height. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His only downfall is he's a Reds fan and not a Cardinals fan. So if Jay, you're listening to this, just remember I said that.
I love that. We're going to have to dive in more into what Shepherd Community Center is doing. Scott Lingle, if you guys know Scott from Remodel, or was it Remodel Help now, High School Hustle also, he talks really highly of Shepherd Community Center. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, there's another one for the pod. That guy is dynamite.
Yeah, he rocks. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing the story from Hunt for the Truck back in 2010 in Muncie, all the way to all the amazing things y'all are doing with JDA, with Prolific, like all the cool stuff. The Growth Conference coming up September 24th.
Yep.
Don't miss it. First day of rally. You're going to have some amazing speakers there. Growth Conference down at Convention Center.
Yep.
Sweet. If people want to connect with you, if they want to find you, if they want to get coffee, how can they do that?
Got to hit the LinkedIn, right?
Mm-hmm.
That JDAWorldwide.com. I think we're on there. That we just launched a new site this year, which has been fun. But you probably know somebody who knows one of us. So,
right. I'll introduce you.
Call Nate Spangle. Yeah, do that.
We could just give Tony his cell phone number out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there we go. And I'll clip that and put it out. Like, everyone call this number.
There you go.
I love it. Gents, keep up the good work. Appreciate you having on, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Get In. If you like what you heard, make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all of my gear recommendations at sweetwater.com. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.